Hi guys, my name is Dee Baker from Elements of Empowerment, and I am here today for Pure Spa and Beauty UK. So they're an organization and they want me to help you guys deal with difficult emotions. And so a little shameless plug before I begin. They are currently offering a 6 for 4 deal on sessions. And so while I am going to be delivering affordable and accessible tools and techniques today, I still think that self care can involve beautiful things like going for a massage or a facial. So there is an inner calm massage or facials for 25 minutes if you prefer something less stimulating. So if you'd like to check them offers out, they're available before the 9th of June on Pure Spa and Beauty UK. So, what I'm here for today is to help you guys to deal with difficult emotions, or as I like to say, just feelings. Emotions are something that we all have to deal with on a daily basis, and unfortunately, it's not something that we are ever taught about in school or anywhere else. So I just want to address that we just need tools and techniques to help us to deal with difficult emotions. Although I don't believe any emotions are difficult, we just label them as good or bad. However, emotions such as anger need to exist. There would be no revolution or improvement in the world as we see it today if people didn't get justifiably angry at unfairness and things that were not right in the world. And sometimes we can judge ourselves for our anger. However, we need to realize that we may be just neglecting our own needs, we may be working too hard, or perhaps we're overly focused in unhealthy relationships. Um, so I do believe that our capacity to experience negative emotions also impacts our capacity to experience positive emotions. So the more that we limit ourselves in feeling anger or disgust or rage or shame, the more that we will limit ourselves in feeling peace and joy and love, which are equally valid. So oftentimes our go-to coping mechanisms or not so good coping mechanisms when we are dealing with overwhelming emotions tend to be unhealthy ones. So we tend to numb with alcohol or food or substances of any kind. Could possibly even be a Netflix binge if you're anything like me. However, resistance is futile, my friends. Unfortunately, the only way out is through when it comes to emotions. So we need to feel our emotions. And I am one of those people that, if you have met me in a personal or even professional context, I tend to get emotional. My emotions flow freely. And even though this was a source of embarrassment for a lot of years, I have actually come to believe that this is a source of strength because I don't get overwhelmed. I try not to get stuck in a loop of negative emotions, although I am only human. So obviously that can happen. Um, so, how to feel your emotions when you're not used to it, or what can we do when we're faced with those difficult emotions? And so, the first thing that I would say to you guys is to learn how to soothe yourself when you're feeling those difficult emotions. And so, this can look like anything that works for you. So, I am a very sensory person. And so for me to feel comfortable, I need a hot drink, a warm blanket. I would suggest even I love smells that help to relax me. So that can be a candle, it can be essential oils, or something maybe a bit more spiritual like Palo Santo or sage. And this is just to help us to get grounded in the physical aspects of our body. And it is also to send the signal to our brain that we are safe and that we are comforted. So, oftentimes with difficult emotions, what we can do to get ourselves into the right frame of mind is to imagine how we would deal with our best friend or a young child when they are in a heightened state of emotional arousal. And although that might seem a bit um, like a patronizing thing to say about our inner child, actually, most of our strong emotions are linked to before we are 4 years of age. So they are in our limbic system. They are not connected to our cognitive thought processes. So we cannot think our way out of these strong feelings. We have to feel them. So treat yourself with that kindness, that respect that you would give a very good friend or a small child, and create that space where you feel safe. So the next thing that I would advise is for you guys to journal if that is what you are into. Equally, you could voice note if writing isn't your thing. But what we want to do is actually identify the feeling that we are feeling. And this is a lot more difficult than we believe because we are not given the language of feelings. We're not taught the language of feelings in school. So I have a tool available that I will link to this, and Pure Spa will send that out to you. And so it's an emotions wheel. And it shows us both positive and negative. So it's not all bad today. It will also show you those positive feelings that you have the capacity to feel once you are dealing with your negative feelings. So I want you to address and identify what the emotion is. And then I want you to gently inquire why it is there, what is happening. Um, is it a case that someone's treatment of you has reminded you of a past relationship? Are you in stress mode in work where this is something small, some innocuous feedback has actually led to you feeling so overwhelmed? So just to break that down and see what it looks like, okay? And identify and look at those emotions and address why you're feeling the way you're feeling. And what I want from this inquiry is not for you guys to go, okay, I feel this way because that person said X, Y, and Z. What I really want us to do is to focus on what we have control over. So our locus of control in life is always just our own words, feelings, and responses. So we have no control over other people, what they're going to say, what they're going to do. So that's, I really want you guys to look at what you can do in this situation to make yourself feel better. And ideally, knowledge is power. So the more we know about ourselves, the more we can self reflect and be self aware, the more that we can help ourselves in this situation. And so a lot of the times it's our inner critic that is saying, you should get over this, build a bridge. What's wrong with you? And we don't want to amplify that voice within us by looking at our negative emotions, okay? We want to like minimize that. So also when it comes to soothing, and it can sound like a very feminine space of like a warm drink and blanket and nice smells. That's not for every woman either. So for all genders, if you are more active and inclined as I am, another way to self soothe can be to walk, to run, dance, play a musical instrument. If you are a reader, reading a book actually puts you in the same frame of mind as meditation. If you are in a heightened state, I recommend have a go-to book that you love that comforts you. So for me, that's Annie Maya Angelou book. Just her writing is sensational. I adore her. I recommend it if you don't know her. All of those soothing techniques and journaling and recognizing your emotions and working with them will always help to calm you. However, if all of that seems a bit overwhelming, an even simpler technique to just get you present, grounded in the moment is the only breathing technique that really works for me. And so it's we inhale for the count of 7, we hold for the count of 4, and we exhale for the count of 8. So it's very difficult to do this exercise on camera and speak, but I will try. So if you would like to join me in this, we inhale for the count of 7, hold for the count of 4, and exhale for the count of 8. And the reason that this technique is so effective is, number one, you are counting. So it shuts off your cognitive brain, it gives it something to actually focus on. Number two, the actual rhythm that it takes automatically helps to relax your entire central nervous system. I would suggest you do this for at least 10 breaths in order to see it work. It's also something that I use when I can't sleep at night, while also listening to meditations with the mindful movement on YouTube. They're incredible. I'm going to link meditations for them so that you guys can benefit as much as I do. Um, so, this is another tip for a mindfulness technique. If you really struggle to get into the moment and just be present in your life and present in your body, a very simple thing to do is, while you are making a hot drink, a tea, a coffee, any kind of infusion, that you just take the time to really focus on making that tea. And something that I like to do and I encourage you to do is to put some intention into that drink. So if you wanted to revive you in your day, it's your coffee in your morning, ask for it to bring you revival. If you wanted to relax you at the last thing at night, I will do a little relaxation routine and an intention with my tea, or just to be rehydrated. And it's just a little tip in the day for to bring you back into your body and into a mindful moment. And the biggest thing to do while we are in moments of distress is to try and practice self compassion. And one of the biggest elements of self compassion, which, if you're not familiar with it, Dr. Kristen Neff is the absolute authority on self compassion. I suggest you look up her work, it's incredible. But the biggest takeaway for me, to have self compassion, is to have an awareness of a common humanity, in that whatever you are experiencing in life, you are not alone in having experienced it. There will always be someone else who has experienced the same thing, who can identify in some way. So if you do need to reach out, if you can find communities to deal with it, I will have a list of professional resources and well-being supports here in the UK, that please feel free to use. If you're really struggling with something, reach out to professionals. So I know that Pure Spa are an amazing organization and they have an EAP program. So I suggest looking at your workplace or getting private counseling sessions if that is needed, um, because sometimes things are too traumatic to actually deal with on our own. On that, I would also suggest just looking for social supports with family, with friends, and sometimes with colleagues and co-workers. They may be the only ones to understand what it is that is the stressful aspect of your job. So they are all of the things that I can recommend for today. Um, I hope those tips and techniques help. I would encourage you to constantly to reflect on the most important relationship in your life, which is the relationship with yourself. So I would encourage you to show a bit of love, and whether that looks like a little I love you in the mirror, or damn, your ass looks good in those jeans, whatever works. I would encourage you to treat yourself with respect and kindness, and to just remember that we are all born worthy of love and respect, and we deserve it. So thank you so much. That's all from me today. So again, my name is Dee Baker. If you want to find out about the work that I am passionate about, elementsofempowerment.org is our website, and you will find links to other resources there. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you guys have a lovely day. Bye.